world that you can get anything and everything that you want in life. And I would say that my daughter is an example of all the things that we've been teaching. Last night we had a 4-hour clubhouse mastermind. We're coming to a city near you, and we just want to talk about what this means as we're zooming into 2023. If you're listening to this recording, I do think it's important to know it's the end of the year 2022 and how that's impacted all of us. So McKenna, ever say hi to everybody?
Hello, everybody. It's McKenna Riley here.
You know, it's really truly fun having you as my partner. I don't think I realized that when I signed up to have children, that I would ever be in business with them and love being around them so much. But I tell you what, it's a little different for you than a lot of other kids. You're in business with your mom. Is that weird?
No, I love it. I get to live my dream.
That is just so funny. And McKenna, tell everybody who you are and what you're up to.
Hello, everybody. My name is McKenna Riley. I am Forbes Riley's daughter. I am a digital marketer. I started my career when I was 12 years old. I started my first business drop shipping photo lenses for phones with funnels. And I made my first $10,000 online and was like, oh my God, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I went on to try different funnels, different marketing tactics. I did affiliate marketing, network marketing. I built funnels for people. I had a marketing agency for a while, really loving how ads run, how you get someone to buy through a sequence of events, the strategy that goes behind it. And then when I was about 14, I was kind of like, oh, I'm enjoying life. And then in junior year of high school, COVID hit. And I was stuck at home and I baked the bread. I cleaned out my pantry. I watched every single season on Netflix and Hulu and Prime. And at some point I was like, I need to do something. I'm going crazy in this house. And I went to my mom one day and I walked downstairs and I'm like, what are you up to? And she's like, I'm doing nothing right now. Absolutely nothing. I don't know what to do with myself. And I'm like, do you want to start a business? And she was like, yeah. So we sat down. And we were like, what could we do a business about? She's really good at pitching. People want to learn right now. People are taking courses, buying books. She's like, why don't we do a pitching business? Why don't we teach people how to pitch? And so we ended up creating a couple courses, and then we launched our first training where we had 25 people in it, and we sold our first class for $1,000. And we opened up the account, and as Forbes says, she opened up the account and saw 25K in our ClickFunnels account. She's like, what is that? And I'm like, you made $25,000 last night. And she was like, what? Off of a funnel in a train? What are you talking about? And that launched this business because within that same month, we did our first 6 figures and we're like, oh my God, I think people want what we have. And so we began building it out, building trainings, building courses, refining what Forbes knows. Within our first year, we became a 7-figure company out of the gate. Now we have 14,000 students. We've mastered what pitching is, mastered the formula. Forbes knows exactly how to take your pitch and make it into $1 million pitch. And we have awesome opportunities coming up at the end of this year and next year for you to master your perfect pitch.
And if I were hearing this for the first time, I would just go, wow. So let me unpack a little bit of this. Many of you know me from television. I spent a career doing infomercials, movies, television, a lot of things people don't realize, because when I was growing up, there was no internet. There was no YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. I would have loved if there was, because I was running around the world doing infomercials, live home shopping in 5 different countries, starting the X Games, doing radio shows, and making movies, literally loving life. At some point when the internet hit, I knew about digital marketing. I kind of understood it, but my brain, I'm a more creative person, and it really requires that you're systematic, that you build your website, you build your online funnel, your database, and all of these things. And my head went, ugh. And then what I did was I hired some people along the way. And I don't want to say that I got screwed over necessarily. What I want to do is take responsibility that I just maybe didn't translate my ideas well enough for someone to implement them. And needless to say, a couple of years, spent lots of money, got nowhere, got very frustrated. And I think I speak to a lot of entrepreneurs out there, because we're dreamers, we're schemers, we have ideas, but you really do need to run the back end of your business. And at some point, I really launched my speaking career. And I remember speaking at this event where there was doctors, dentists, and orthodontists, but it was a money management meeting, because they went to medical school. They didn't go to bookkeeping school. They didn't go to how to book insurance school. And so a lot of professionals, and I think you can relate to this if you're listening to this, that you need both sides of your operation to work. Well, lo and behold, McKenna has a very organized brain. And it was the perfect idea. We even read a book about it, and you talk about that in a second, McKenna, about how most companies really need both sides of that for excellence.
Yeah. So in order to have a successful business, a lot of people are solopreneurs. But if you look at the top 500, there's top 500 Forbes, top 500 Inc. companies, you'll see, and if you look at the companies, majority of those companies, I want to say like 80 to 90% of them have two people at the top. It's very rare that you only see one person at the top of the company. And that's because you need two types of people to run a company. You need a visionary, someone who has the great ideas, who's got all the knowledge about what we should be doing, why we should be doing it, meeting people. And then you have the integrator. And that person is who goes, okay, let's do this. Let's not do this. Let's hire these people to make this happen. And they make those visions come true. But a visionary is a leader. There's somebody who has a million ideas a week of chasing butterflies around an integrator. And what I always say with Forbes is Forbes like, I want to do this course and this, and I want to do this event. And I'm like, okay, Forbes, well, if you want to do these things, then we can't do these things. And it reshifts her priorities. But if I wasn't around to say, hey, we can't do this right now because we are doing this, she would go off and do it. And the problem with that is visionaries tend not to get a lot done. They get a lot started, but they don't complete things. And so that's why at the top of every company, and very rarely you'll see one person at the top of the company, and that's usually a visionary who ended up hiring their integrator. So that is something to think about as you're working as a solopreneur, if you want to be solely in this business, because partnerships don't always work out great. I will say a reason I've got a great partnership with my mom is because we're family. I would never in a million years screw her out of just about anything. I care about her. I love her. And so there's a different respect in that. But I found when I partner with people, and I do that, there's this kind of tends to be this selfish energy. You have to be really careful with who you trust. So a lot of the time, I say you should go and hire an integrator. You should hire that person who's going to implement to what makes it happen for you. However, that usually comes with a very hefty bill, which is why people tend to partner. But you have to have those two people at the top of a company. And that's why Forbes is our visionary. She has a million beautiful ideas a week. And I'm the integrator, a little bit more tough. That's like, look, that's a great idea, but if we decide to do this, we can't do these other great ideas you had. And it makes her, as the visionary, take a second and go, you know what, you're right. I need to stay focused and keep doing this. Because the other thing I notice with visionary is a lot of the time, you'll have a great idea while you're sleeping in bed and you're like, oh, this is amazing. And then 1 week later, you don't think it's such a great idea. So that's why an integrator, who's someone's like, okay, I hear what you're saying. Let's sit on it for a week. If you still like it, then we can move forward with implementing it.
See, this is just so brilliant. I looked for McKenna my entire life, and I looked for someone who thought the way she did. And I will tell you what's interesting about that, because I realized that most of my business, I had been a spokesperson for other people's companies. I was a freelancer. I didn't have to worry about any of the back, and I was wildly successful. And I'm thinking, McKenna, as we move forward in the world, that we can really offer people who have ideas, entrepreneurs, to understand both balances of this. And a couple of things happen along the way. So you guys know, I've done 195 infomercials and grossed over $2.5 billion. I am an expert when it comes to crafting messages and then even being the on-camera person to pitch them. And I do apologize if you guys hear any noise in the background. I'm in a very high-level event, and the only place I can do this is the hotel lobby, so bear with me. I'm talking as clearly as I can, and trust me, the information is worth sticking around for. And so the idea of balancing these both out have led to us creating products, which I'd never really thought about before. So the first thing that we set out to do, McKenna, was to capitalize on what I teach about pitching. And we launched a very interesting series of trainings. When we started out, what did you think of the idea that we were literally offering a class for 2 hours just for $19?
I thought it was genius. I really
Why?
did. I won't lie. I'm not someone to purchase. I don't like buying things in the sense of when I say that I don't like buying very expensive things. It takes me quite a few pushes to get me to buy anything that's over about $500. You really have to convince me that it's worth it to me. If it's over 500 to 1,000, anywhere above that, there's a lot of time and energy that goes into that. But $19 for me is an easy buy. $19 is lunch. And I buy lunch every day. So when I thought about that, I said, you know what, during COVID, during these times, people don't have a lot of money. And if you think of it, sometimes business, there's two things in businesses to qualify success: quantity and quality. And when I say quality, quality could mean like the amount for the product. There's not exactly like the quality of it. That's not what I mean. But quantity and quality, you can either charge a lot of money and have a low quantity of people, or you can have a high quantity of people and charge a low amount of money. And I thought, you know what? Let's help affect as many people as we can. Let's really build our community, because our focus in this was to build a community. Because I don't know about you guys, but during COVID, I was lonely. Forbes, you were lonely. There was nobody to talk to. There was nobody to run ideas by. What were other people doing? And so to us, let's build a community. And we thought, what's a low enough price point where we would not just be, because I didn't want to give it away, because when you give things away for free, people don't show up. But I also wanted people who were serious, who actually wanted to be there, who were willing to open up their pocketbook, not just for $1 or $7, but for $19. That to me is a level of seriousness. And actually, one way you qualify people is by charging a little bit of money. That's why certain masterminds cost $1,000 to $5,000 to join, because you want a certain type of person in those masterminds, in those communities. And I wanted people who would at least be willing to spend $19 with us to come learn, to see what we have to say. And so we decided to do that. I said, you know what, we can get as many people as we can have into this community as possible, and it qualifies them to be in this community.
So this is not your first business, but it's certainly a business that has exploded. What's been one of the most surprising things that you've experienced? Because we've had almost 14,000 students go through the initial $19 online in our Facebook community. And if you guys, please go there. It's free to join. It's called Forbes Riley's Millionaire Maker. And I titled it that because in my career, I have taken inventors onto home shopping, onto infomercials, and made millionaires. But that was a product. And now we are taking companies and ideas and entrepreneurs and getting them to get to 6 and 7 figures. So what's one of the most surprising things about this whole journey?
I think the most surprising thing about this whole journey is, okay, I'll be honest, I've studied with tons of marketers. I grew up studying with marketers because I got to go to events with Forbes. I learned email marketing, funnels, spreadsheets. I mean, everything that you could do in marketing, how to make money, how to retain people, how to run surveys. I was never taught how to run a business. Everyone missed that part. How do you do a payroll? How do you hire? How do you file your taxes? How do you get invoices paid? How do you create structured contracts so that you don't get screwed over? And this is something in the marketing world that is just kind of glazed over. And I think that's a huge problem that a lot of people in the marketing business or coaching business face, is that you aren't treating your coaching, your service as an actual business where you have proper contracts, where you have a proper LLC, C Corp, S Corp set up, where you're filing your taxes, where you understand loopholes, where you understand how to maximize what you're doing. It was complete in payroll. I didn't even understand payroll. I hired myself as a W-2 employee. I didn't even understand what a W-2 or a W-9 or a W-6 was. How do you do that? What are the contracts? How do you hire outside of the country? Because a massive lesson that I feel we miss in marketing, which is why I created GSD Hire, is you have to hire people to do these things. And if you can't do that, you will not be successful. I will blatantly tell you, if you cannot figure out how to make a team, how to work with other people, and how to have people work for you, you will never, ever achieve the success you want. You may be able to make a lot of money, but you are going to forever be trading your time for that money and continue to have to work and work and work to get where you want to go. And you can't grow past a certain point. You may make it to $1 million a year. Forbes made it to $2 million a year, but she never broke into 8 figures a year because she didn't have a team of and I say 8 figures a year of pure profit. She could not do without a team. And so as I've been teaching her about build, because I mean, Forbes is the type, and I mean, this is incredible. She shows up to a shoot, she gets paid a $60,000 check, come on here for 3 hours, do your little thing and leave. Thank you very much. That's great. And she would do that all day long. Maybe 2 or 3 a month. She would go on, she would do her infomercials. She'd come home, oh, I made $1 million on, but there was nothing else. It just stopped. And so she was always chasing her next job. However, if she had a team, she understood how to maximize, because I mean, Forbes draws people in, and I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs here draw people in. If you have a powerful message, if you're teaching and sharing something that actually impacts and affects people, you can draw people in. But just as quickly as she was drawing them in, she was dropping them out the back because she had no support system. She had no one helping them, selling them into something, giving them more. People always use, I remember this as a child, being like, Forbes, how else can we work with you? What else can we do? What can I buy from you? And she's like, nothing, I have a spin gym here, you can have it. And people would legitimately get mad at her for not having something to go into, to not know how else to train or work with her. And so for a lot of you guys out there, that's the same situation. And until now, when we began working together and I learned how to build a team, now I'll tell you this, I spent a lot of money learning how to build a team.
Well, hang on. We got 1 minute.
I know that I see the 1 minute break. I know how to do this.
I'm like totally glued to what you are talking about. And I'm so excited that you guys are going to get to hear this. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back to find out, number one, how do you hire a team? How do you delegate responsibility? Stop trading your time for money and then make more money than you ever imagined. We're right back with my very special guest, McKenna Riley. Don't go away.
That's what I was going to do.
All clear.
All right, well, and we're still live on Facebook. Thank you guys for working on the e-card, and for everybody glued to this on Facebook. They are, Martina is there, and Sheila and Christian. Yeah, there's some really dynamic information that McKenna's not shared before. I don't think we've had a chance to really do this at this level.
Yeah, I don't usually come on here.
No, I'm mesmerized by this, and it's just so fascinating that you came along and you are who you are at this point in my life, because we really do affect a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
And so when we come back, I do want to focus. We've not given out any URLs. We can just talk about GSD if we want to, and the pitch party. So I don't want to give them. I don't want to confuse.
Let's just talk about the pitch party. I think what we're doing this December is revolutionary. I'm going to be redoing GSD next year, focusing a little bit more on businesses and impact your business and treat it like a business.
Well, you know what? Let's start with the concept of GSD and then roll into pitch party, because you're on a roll about how to get shit done. And I think that spurns so many people's ears and the logistics of what you built. And as you're talking, you need GSD of business.
That's quite a large course. That I don't know if one of the reasons I don't think I've built some of those courses is I don't necessarily feel the most qualified to build it. I know what I need to know about my business, but I don't know about everybody's business or about all the different things. So I would actually have to bring somebody in to do that. And I have not found someone I trust enough to do that.
Hey, so I'm looking, Eric Yallen has shared, oh, there's Sheila and Christian. Is she a guest on tonight's mastermind? Christian, do you want her to be a guest on tonight's mastermind? Because listening to you talk, no one else has access to you but me. And I've watched how you built it, how logical you are, how no nonsense. And I love the fact that you were willing to talk to me as a business owner and then also as a child. Stop it.
I actually think that's why people enjoy listening to me, is because I get so nitty gritty in details and I talk things out. So like, if you know nothing about marketing or anything about what I'm talking about, I'm trying to from the least knowledgeable person to the most knowledgeable person, I want you to understand what I'm saying.
5 seconds.
I remember that feeling of being like, can you just go a little bit deeper? I don't understand.
No, we're going to talk about that because that's the biggest problem in education right now.
Yes.
You are listening to the Forbes Factor. To call in with a question or comment, please call 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. Or send an email to Forbes@ForbesRiley.com. Now back to the show. Here's Forbes Riley.
Hey, welcome back. I'm broadcasting today from San Diego, and I'm in a hotel lobby. So forgive the little echo, but I've got the world's greatest guest, and we're talking about something everybody needs to hear. That is about how you start, manage, and grow your business. I'm here with my business partner and my daughter, McKenna Riley. And one of the things that became very apparent, you did have access to a lot of digital marketers. I took you to a lot of courses and trainings and speeches. You'd always come with me, and I loved that. But it became interesting about the level of education that we were being offered in these places. And a lot of it was 30,000 foot view. It was overviews, it was theories. And then it was very funny when we had a couple of college graduates come intern with us, they had lots of theory, but they couldn't get anything done. Did that surprise you?
Yes. That's why I didn't go to college. I hired an intern when I was 17. And he was a marketing intern. He studied marketing. He was going into his senior year of marketing and knew absolutely nothing about marketing. Nor did he not know he knew theory. He knew billboard theory in old style for Coca-Cola companies, where in a Coca-Cola company like that, or Facebook, or any large corporation, they believe they need 15 people for a marketing team, which you don't. You need about 5. 5 really good people can make you $1 billion. But they have all these theories about how marketing works and how to do it. And it doesn't relate to small businesses because they're throwing millions and millions of dollars at ads. So I was absolutely baffled by the entire situation. And it's the leading reason because I learned that. And then I talked to a couple college professors and I'm like, look, I don't understand this college thing. They're like, oh, well, here's how it works. The first 2 years of college, we're going to teach you all the things, math, English, all those things you need to know. And then the last 2 years of college, we're going to teach you theory and understanding about what your major is. And then you have to go do a bachelor's or the other things to really become an expert in it. But, ideally the way to do it is you have to intern in a business, and that's how you'll learn to do the marketing and all that. And I went, excuse me? I'm like, I have a business. I'm learning how to market. So you're telling me I can miss that 4 years of BS where I pay all this money to somebody who's not actually going to teach me anything to just run and intern in my own business? I'll take that any day.
What I wouldn't give to have the hundreds of thousands of dollars back from my college education, and also to have those 4 years back. In fact, I had a feeling when I was there that I was wasting my time, McKenna, and I ended up graduating. I got 2 degrees in just 3 years and couldn't wait to leave. And none of that is anything I've ever used, which is so disappointing because my parents, we saved our whole lives for that.
I will say you chose one of the worst majors.
But here's the thing, I was the top of my class. No one taught me or said, what were the jobs back then? You could be a doctor or a lawyer. If you didn't like blood, lawyer. And I'm like, who knew I didn't even know about marketing or PR or things that I would have loved to have known. You have had certainly access to a lot more avenues than that. So it's fascinating to me that while a lot of people are working on this 30,000 foot view, we're just getting shit done. And I hate to say that word shit, but I got to tell you, because of that energy, you created a concept called GSD, and I'll talk about that in a second. But you just said something interesting, how big companies throw money at things. So I own a television studio, right? And I can create an entire 3-camera with sound and effect show with about 3 to 5 people. The other day, one talking head guy came in, and there were 16 staff, and the entire people, they all flew down. I don't know what, the people just standing around. What could they be doing? He wasn't even moving, and it was one guy. It's been fascinating to me how if you are efficient and streamlined and know what you're doing, you can create so much faster.
Yeah.
So let's talk about GSD for a second.
Okay, so GSD, in the sense of what, Forbes?
Just getting a little loud. There's a doorman over here and he's kind of screaming. All right,
so okay, well,
for GSD, what happened for us? Well, go ahead, go for it, because it's too loud here.
So GSD stands for Get Shit Done. Sorry for my profanity. But I've been attending marketing events for my entire life. Literally since the time I was born, I've been meeting with marketing people, meeting with television experts, And they always told me what I could do, what's possible. Here's what's happening on the market. Here's the possibility for you. And I was always like, okay, but how do I do it? And they're like, well, you can do this. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I know I can drop ship a product or I can build a funnel, but how do I do this? Where's the software? Where's the tutorial? And this leading factor is why a lot of you guys are not successful in what you do, because there's always that, but how do I actually do it? And so when I experience that, as we're creating our trainings, one of my key things behind everything I do is I never want anyone leaving our trainings going, but how do I actually do it? How do I actually implement it? I get what you're saying. I get what I need to be doing, but how do I actually do it? And so that's where GSD was born out of. It came, and GSD actually came out of one day Forbes had an idea for a training. Now, this is a Monday. Forbes had an idea for a training. We built and outlined the entire training, built out that kind of the assets in that day for it. The second day, we built out the online course, and she filmed the videos. We put it together. I had my copywriter write the emails. On the Thursday of that Wednesday, we put the sales page together. We put everything together. And that night in Mastermind, we did a little over $10,000 from an idea we had 3 days before.
And that is what you call GSD. It was magical. And we looked at each other and thought, wow, that system anyone could use when they have an idea and they want to generate cash flow.
Yeah, and it's about being organized. And that's when it really hit me. I have SOPs for it. I've got a large team now. I've got a lot of people on it. There's a lot of moving parts. So I have standard ways I like to do it. SOP stand for standard operating procedures. And so I have ways I like to do things, and you have to do them specifically, because if everybody is organizing in their own way, it doesn't work. So I created the system and went, oh my God, this is a really good, because we never built a course that quickly. It really opened my eyes to every single system between how we built the course, the ebook, the assets, the funnel, the sales emails, and how I actually got those people on my team to complete that system. I was like, this could be a course. I just have to take my SOPs. All the stuff that's in GSD, by the way, was already built, was already being used in my company. I was like, let me just translate it into a course and make some videos around it. So we did that. And that's how GSD was born. And what I did in this course that I've never seen this in another course, is I literally show you where to put your mouse on the screen. Bring your mouse here. Let's create this. Now upload the videos you create here. Now do this. And I walk you through it. So throughout those courses, if you literally could put a child or someone who knows nothing about marketing in front of that course and have them build out your entire ebook, your online course, your funnel, very easily, because it is so step by step, because I never wanted anyone having that question, but how do I actually do it?
So if you're someone and listening to this and getting very excited by this concept, we have 5 GSD creative courses. One of them is GSD an ebook. One of them is GSD an online course. One of them is GSD a funnel, GSD an email list, and GSD a hire. I'm going to focus on the first one just quickly because, well, I don't want to write a book, or I don't think I need a book. Yes, you do. I will pitch this all day long. And an ebook, guys, can be as short as 3 pages or as long as 30 pages. But it is this way to establish you as an expert in what you do. And the beautiful part about this is it's a lead magnet. It is a way to connect to people. You don't even have to print it. You can send it as a link. But let's say the most bizarre, maybe you're a dog walker, and that sounds crazy. I just had somebody who's in the dog world. It's huggy dogs. Well, why would I need an ebook? Well, I said, because at the moment, you're the only one doing the dog walking, and you're getting paid per hour. She said, well, how do I grow it? I said, pretty simple. How about you create a system where you can hire and teach other dog walkers your system? Oh, now you can have 50 people walking dogs. You can sit home and make more money. And then, since you're located in just one area, what if you wrote out your top 5 secrets to well-trained dogs that you've probably learned over the years, and now you are selling and marketing this around the country, and at some point maybe you have a dog walker Zoom in, or a dog owner Zoom in, where people can share the problems that they have that they don't know what to do. I mean, if your dog chews your shoes or poops on the carpet or just doesn't want to behave, come meet the expert. Her head exploded, McKenna.
Oh, I know. And I think the other problem with a lot of this is what we teach will make you wildly successful. You will begin to see income from streams you've never seen. You will have people come into your life and start working with you. it is a lot of work. You have to build the ebook. People look at us and go, oh, you had it so easy. And I'm like, you didn't see me I would not sleep for 3 days. And this is terrible to say, but I would not sleep for days on end because I'm like, too much work, I'm working, I'm sitting at home. I would literally not move from my brother would bring me some food. My mom would bring me some water, but I was so focused and committed. And I didn't do any like crazy drugs. I drank tea and like a little bit of coffee and stuff, but I was just so motivated to do it. I didn't get tired. I also wasn't moving my body a lot. Like I was sitting in one place. But I was like, this has to get done. And I was just so committed and moving so fast that I was like, I'm not stopping. And I think a lot of people miss that in this process. It's not easy to be an entrepreneur. You have to work for it. You have to want it more than anything else. And you don't have to have it consume your life. It depends on what level of success you want. If you want to be $100 million, you want to have a massive business, you want to reach 1 million people, you're going to be working every single day of your every day of the year or the next 2 years or 5 years, 10 years to make that happen. But if you just want to make an extra $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, you don't have to work doesn't have to consume you. That's doable. $5,000 to $10,000 a month. That's 60 to 120 grand a year. That is more than doable being an entrepreneur and still having a life. But you have to manage your goals that way, because at some point, just like it's done for me, however, I don't mind, work consumed my life. It still consumes my life, but I'm okay with that, because if not, it would be school.
Well, it's a couple of things that you said. Number one, apparently your math is really good because you can multiply 5,000 times 12 very quickly. Apparently you didn't need that 1 year of college for that. And I will tell you, you get more motivated when the numbers you're multiplying have a dollar sign next to them. I also want to say that, yes, there is a level of commitment. It's not the easiest thing in the world to be doing all of this, but the level of passion and commitment, the way you wanted to get it done. I can remember in school having to write papers. I wrote a paper on Fred Astaire and tap dancing. What was the point of that? I would rather do the work that you're doing, have you turn that in as GSD, the thesis, because it's making people money. It's creating so much value for people, and it just poured out of you. I love this. Now, so guys, if you're listening to the sound of my voice and say, hey, I want to know more about this, you go to gsdwithforbes.com and you will find all the courses there. And we also teach GSD, a mindset. And as Eric and some of the people listening and commenting on Facebook Live, he's like, I want to do GSD, a CRM. I'll tell you what.
I have that. That's just an email sequence.
All right, well, there you go. I got to tell you, it's an interesting, exciting time for us. So certainly if you're want to know and be in Makenna's world, that is definitely one way, and everybody needs an ebook. Guys, my first ebook sold for $7. I sold 3,500. I made a ridiculous amount of money on my ebook at $7, okay? So for those of you who keep saying to me, Forbes, I'm broke, no, that's a mentality. Listen to a 19-year-old who does not have that mentality and serving people, creating miracles, and building a life worth living. Now, having said that, Makenna, we've been doing this now for 2 years, going on 3 years in the middle of next, and we like to have parties. Our first year together, we created an award party called the Excellies. What was that about?
The Excellies, Forbes, I gotta say, stop touching your microphone on your headphones right there. It's causing a lot of feedback. All right, so Excellies was incredible. In our first year of business in 2020, we created this amazing community. I think at that time, we'd grown so quickly. We probably had 3,000, 4,000 people who had joined within that year. And at the end of that year, we'd been working so hard. Everybody had been stuck at home. We were like, how can we just feel like we're at an award show again? How can we make this incredible? And so we decided to do an award show called the Excellies, the Inner Circle of Excellence. And we had famous people come and we gave out awards for most improved pitcher, most like Rising Phoenix. Just some really incredible awards. And during that time, we were still all in heavy lockdown and COVID. And it was a really beautiful moment. And we actually had one of our students who was COVID tested, and we did the whole thing actually come to our students and be our assistant. But Susan Levin was the first person for us to step out of the Zoom screen during COVID. And I'm sure many of you guys remember that moment when you met someone for the first time who you've been talking to for a year on Zoom, and they finally stepped out of this box and met you in person. And so it was an absolutely incredible time, and everybody will remember it forever.
And so this notion of celebrating is very, very important to us. We're also a company that doesn't focus on perfection. We always say, don't let the perfect ruin the good, but a level of excellence. And as we have been teaching pitch, I'm noticing that I'm getting testimonials of people who are pitching for investors, pitching for partners, pitching to sell their company. I've got one company that's they're going public. This is crazy. It's a real estate company going public because of the pitching concepts. So we thought, all right, everybody's always asked me, Forbes, can you give me my perfect pitch? Makenna, what do I say to them?
No, I'd rather teach you how to pitch so you can so you can pitch anything, anytime, anywhere you want. Instead of just giving you the fish, I'll teach you how to catch the fish.
And that has been so wildly successful for us. But this year I said, we're going to create a party around this, and I'm going to give out 15 perfect pitches. So we've created a system. We're launching it in January, along with a new book that we're doing. We're also going to take a break in about 2 minutes, and I'm going to come back and give you the title of the book and why I think it's going to change your life. And once again, how this course, which is called 1 Minute to Millions. Now, Makenna, if anybody else other than me said that to you, 1 minute to millions, I would think what? That's not possible, right?
Scammer.
Right. Well, but I'll tell you what, I've made infomercials. In 60 seconds, I've created shows that have made hundreds of millions of dollars. And my Jack LaLanne juicer, which was just 28 minutes, it was filmed in 2003, just after you were born. It ran for 8 years in 80 countries and grossed $1 billion. One conversation between me, Elaine, and Jack LaLanne. I never worked again for that. It aired and aired and aired. And I don't think you guys realize the power of this concept that 1 minute can make millions. And so we're going to do something wildly special this December 2nd. Want to give a 1 minute pitch to it?
A 1 minute pitch. Well, hello, my name is Makenna Riley. I'm known as the 19-year-old digital marketer with my beautiful mother, Forbes Riley. She's the $2.5 billion host. We're hosting a party December 2nd where she's going to be giving away 15 perfect pitches, and everybody who attends will get the minute to million script. And I promise you this one event will make 2023 absolutely amazing and create you that $1 million business you've always wanted.
And everyone in the audience, for a very, very low price, is also going to receive almost a $3,500 gift bag of award-winning prizes. We're going to be doing that throughout the day, and courses. The value is insane. So we got to take a break, and I'm not going to give you the information until you come back, so don't go away.
All clear?
Thank you. It got a little noisy here. I know this is crazy. I couldn't find another place in the entire hotel to do this.
It's totally okay. Your headphones really help the echo and some of the background noise, but definitely I know you love to move your head and your hands. So I was trying to tell you that in the chat earlier, but I know it's hard.
I know. I'm like, okay, sit still.
It's hard. You're excited.
So Rachel, you excited to come to the party?
I want to come to the party. I didn't know you were coming to Phoenix.
Oh,
well, that's where I am.
Oh my gosh. You know
I'm in downtown.
Oh, I've never visited. I'm so glad that you said that. So I just talked to Sharon Makenna, you know who I'm talking about, who can see us on Monday night or Tuesday. Would you, Rachel, give me, let me reach out. Is Jeff and those guys in town, do you think?
So Jeff isn't around anymore, sadly. Are you talking about like our CEO? Yeah, he passed away in December, which is super sad. Yeah, but we have everyone else is here. I know. I didn't know you didn't know that.
Oh my God, no, no.
Well, we got to talk, but yes, we're all in here except for him.
Okay. Wow.
I know, that's really sad. I'm sorry to drop that on you.
Wednesday I could do you guys have a facility I could do a show live from your studio?
I can definitely talk to them. We haven't opened it to everyone, but I would love to ask them for you.
It would be 11 a.m. on Wednesday.
Okay, let me write that down. 11 a.m. Wednesday. This Wednesday?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah. It's already Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm looking at airplane flights right now.
All right, I'll ask them next Wednesday.
All right.
For next Wednesday. No, I'm not. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Wow. Exciting. Okay, we're coming back.
Okay.
You are listening to the Forbes Factor. To call in with a question or comment, please call 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. Or send an email to Forbes@ForbesRiley.com. Now back to the show. Here's Forbes Riley.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Forbes Riley. I'm broadcasting live from San Diego. I'm in a hotel lobby, crazy, because I'm in between speaking events, but I would not miss doing this live, especially with my very special guest, the woman right on top of me. Her name is Makenna Riley. She's my daughter and my business partner, and one of the inspirations for me to keep going full steam and just never wanting to stop. So Makenna, if I just want to give people insight a little bit into our life, because they sometimes look at you and go, why are you doing what you're doing? We know why Forbes loves to do that, but you have made everything so much bigger and better. What's your inspiration?
You.
And my inspiration is you. I'd elaborate on that a little bit.
I would never in a million years do this for anybody else but you. I am breaking my back, bending over, doing everything in my power to give you everything that you want to make. Well, build your business, our business, but to make all your dreams come true. And it's a lot of work, but I feel like it was a lot of work to give birth to me. So I feel like it's a trade-off.
Well, in about 4 weeks, you're going to hit 20 years old. And that was a big day. I had 2 babies, you and your twin brother at 7 pounds each, 10 minutes apart. Yeah, it was a long 10 minutes. But I would like you to offer up a little bit outside of business, which we focus on a lot. And we're going to come back to give you if you want to come to the party, I'm going to give you the link in just a minute. But what is it about how you were raised, do you think, that makes you care about your mom so much? Because I think it's a bit of advice that we could give to other mothers that maybe haven't created such a strong connection. Any insight into that?
Yeah, I actually didn't really like my mom for a good period there. Between the age of about 11 or 12 to about 16 years old, I really didn't like her. One reason I didn't like her is because she didn't listen to me. She didn't care what I had to say. She made it seem like she cared what I had to say, but didn't actually listen to what I had to say. And when I say that, I had all these ideas of and don't get me wrong, I still traveled with her. We enjoyed being together, but I didn't. And actually between the age of about 14 to 16, I didn't really travel with her. I kind of like took a massive step back because she wasn't listening to me. She wasn't taking my advice. I was learning all this great information, but she wasn't implementing it. She wasn't taking it. She was continuing to do what she did. And it frustrated me so much that I said, I don't want to do this anymore. Just be my mom. But my mom is a workaholic, like many of you guys know. And I kind of learned between that period that if I wanted to have a relationship with my mom, I was going to have to figure out how to work with her, because she knows how to work. She knows how, I mean, don't get me wrong. She knows how to take care of me when I'm sick. She's always there for me. She doesn't come to sports. She never came to my sports games though, because it made her too anxious, which I get. I was a very aggressive sports player and I always got hurt. And I don't fault her for that, but she was always there for me. She was not a bad mother, but I mean, we talk about what is mother? Like, I never talked to her about boys. It's not what we talked about. I didn't talk to her about drama at school. She didn't really care. She's like, I'm busy, I'm working. Let's go out and do something. And so when we were together, she would be on Facebook Live or she'd be doing something. And again, I would never fault her for this because it is who she is. And I appreciate her for this because she was so driven to give me and my brother everything we ever wanted. She wanted to build a life for us that we could be proud of. She worked her ass off so we could live on the water and to be able to enjoy boating and paddleboarding. But as I look back on that, I'm like, she wasn't really around like she was, but she was traveling a lot because she wanted us to. We went to a private school that was one of the best in the counties, but she had to work so hard. And I think for a while there, I faulted her for it, going, why are you always working? Why aren't you hanging out with me? But then when we did hang out, I was like, well, let's work. I actually like what you do. But then she wasn't listening to me. And then when COVID hit, it mended our relationship, one, because I was stuck in a house with her that was not very large. It's kind of like our house is like one giant room. And the second part of it is she finally started listening to me. She finally been screwed over so much that she was like, you know what? Let me trust somebody who's a little closer to me. And when she began trusting me and actually listening to what I had to say and believing in what I was saying and doing, that's when I was like, I will do anything for this woman.
Wow, maybe every mom should hear that. and it's fascinating to me. I didn't listen to this little girl who came to me one day and said the most ridiculous thing. Mom, I need $500 to buy Bitcoin. I'm like, you need what for? That's a lot of money.
The conversation even moved to, okay, I don't need any of your money. I just need you to set up an account because I'm 13 years old and can't do it myself. Please, please, please do this with me. We'll make so much money.
For those of you who know, Bitcoin went from 100 to 500 to $60,000 per
I wanted
coin.
to invest in Bitcoin when it was $100, and I wanted to invest in Ethereum when it was $17. $17. And over the years, I watched it jump to 20, to 30, to 70, to 80.
Don't rub it in here. Here's what I want to share with you. I had no idea, like many of you, and it's a book that McKenna is writing, that every company needs a kid. I don't think as adults that we respect, and it's don't fault me for it, you'll probably feel the same way, but that we respect kids as much as they should be respected. They have out of the box thinking. When she was 8 years old, she saved my company over $48,000. She literally walked into a meeting we're having and we couldn't figure out how to make this one thing work. And she walked in and did one thing that none of us saw because none of us were 8 years old. None of us saw this obvious because we were overthinking and we know the rules. And I will tell you that I'm going to promote the heck out of this book because every company does need a kid. You guys need fresh ideas. You think as an adult, you just think that you're right. You've seen it all, you've done it all. Well, what's crazy about that is technology is changing so fast. She said a couple of things that I'd never heard before. Like, Mom, I don't need to memorize anything. I'm like, sure you do. She said, no, if I want to know what river George Washington crossed, I type it in, I go, hey Google, hey Siri, and I will know, and I'll always have a phone with me. Well, I didn't really know that. Who knew that the internet would really be around like this and that cell phones that are more powerful now sitting in my pocket than what powered the spaceship to the moon when I was 9 years old in 1969. So it has been an evolution. And I think the growing pains of us, McKenna, will help inform a lot of other people about how to do this. And really, maybe just empower a lot of kids to finally be able to step up or have the parents to step aside. Because the truth is, we don't know everything. When I watched her work around a Google Drive and how she communicates with teams and sets up organizations, I didn't have any of those skills. And it's been a fascinating journey, and I highly recommend hanging out with McKenna. That said, we have a party coming up. And at this party, that was a great pitch, by the way, I'm going to be doing something that I've never done before. I have a script, a template that I use all the time called the perfect pitch. And I put it into a whole system called 1 Minute to Millions, because if you videotape this pitch, and I've done it with such people as like Les Brown and a lot of other celebrities, that you put it, you share this 1 minute introduction about your mission, why you do it, and literally 60 seconds, you strategically let somebody know who you are, what you're up to, and how they can connect with you and contribute. That changes people's lives. And so we're going to go through that on an all-day venture on December 2nd. We're going to give thousands of dollars away. I've got people who have contributed all kind of prizes. We're going to give away a swag bag with courses that you want to take. And I'm going to tell you, there'll be over 500 people in that room. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So why should an entrepreneur join us?
So during this event, not only are we giving away 15 perfect pitches, but someone that signs up as a pitch passenger will be brought up to be given their perfect pitch by Forbes Riley. So you have that opportunity. But here's the thing. If you had a chance to sit in the room while Forbes was crafting the pitch with Jack LaLanne for the Jack LaLanne juicer, that infomercial grossed $1 billion, how much do you think you would learn? If you had a chance to sit in the room while Forbes was doing pitches for 1,500 different fitness products, do you think you'd know how to pitch? Do you think you'd understand the system? Do you think if you heard it enough, you would get it? And so what we're doing here is we're going to be giving people their perfect pitch, but I promise you, one of those people out of those 15 are in your niche, one way or another. They relate to you somehow. You will learn, you will hear things. One of the things that I will say I love about Forbes, but also bothers me a lot about Forbes, is genius just comes to her out of nowhere. I'll be like, all right, we're making this amazing course, we're doing it. And then we teach the class, like we do a live training, and she says something brilliant. And I'm like, why is that not in the course? She's like, I was working with them and it came to me and it finally clicked. And so that's what's going to happen a lot during this perfect pitch party. Things are going to click. You're going to hear other people pitch. You're going to hear how Forbes pushes them and maneuvers them and says what to say, what not to say, as you're taking notes and you are using that same script to create your own pitch which we will be following, you will also be able to walk away with your own pitch. It just won't be handed to you on a silver plate. It'll actually be worked through, which I will believe is even more beneficial.
And it is an interesting little phenomenon. I'd never heard you say that, but could you imagine being in the room when we wrote the Jacqueline Juicer, or I work with Body by Jake, or I helped launch Beachbody before Power 90. I did Power 90 before
or
P90.
In the room when she did the Morphe brushes.
Morphe brushes, yep.
She did that. Celsius, the energy drink. She did that. She was there. She created, and I remember they came to our studio before they found out their new formula, and that was the worst tasting drink I've ever tried in my life. And she still created amazing pitch around it and sold millions of their product. Imagine if you were in the room when that happened. You would be able to speak and pitch like I do. I'm a perfect representative of what it means to hang out with Forbes and listen to her pitch things.
And it's phenomenal because being able to have a command of the human language that gets other people to take action is the most amazing skill, whether you're a leader or a sales team or just you're working in a network marketing company. Having access to this facility, which is in your mouth, in your head. And we meet so many people, you know, if you guys, oh, by the way, you do, wait, they want the link. www, get this, Perfect Pitch Party, PPP. perfectpitchparty.com. If you listen to this live, it's happening on December 2nd. It's an all-day event. It will be just me teaching, coaching, giving away prizes, having an amazing, and by the way, there's still a couple of sponsorship opportunities. We've had some, yes. Why would somebody want to be a sponsor?
Sponsorship is an amazing opportunity. If you're a business looking for more leads, looking to get your message out there, get in front of hungry entrepreneurs, if you believe you can help them, we have a great sponsorship opportunity for you. And you can actually find it on that perfectpitchparty.com page. It's at the very bottom where you can see our sponsorship opportunities. But this is a fabulous opportunity if you want to meet with Forbes, you want to get your message out there, you want to be promoted to who we're working with. We should have about 500 people there by the time we're done with this, who are all raving entrepreneurs looking to get success, who are wanting to learn how to pitch and sell what they're doing better. Could you help them?
And then there's a bonus to this. I tend to over deliver. It's part of my company's policies that we over deliver. And so then that party's on December 2nd. Then is the new year on January 11th. We're going to be doing a showcase of this to continue the momentum. And I'm going to invite VCs, which are venture capitalists. I'm going to invite people who invest in companies. You're going to want to be around this community because, as I tell people, we're almost at the end of our time, McKenna. For so many years, I played small. I came with my own things in my head and how my parents raised me. And I made a vow that I was not going to raise my children that way. I was going to raise them from an abundant mindset, from a participatory. My parents like to be very quiet and very small, and that was great for them. But they also passed away at 70. And it's sad, overweight smokers. And I love them too much to watch that ever happen again. I chose a very different path. And I love that both McKenna and Riker have bought into this idea of creating magic everywhere and anytime they want, and inviting people and building this amazing rockstar community that we call the Millionaire Maker Inner Circle. Check that out on Facebook. Kenny, we've got about a minute and a half to close. Anything you want to say to wrap this up?
I just want to say thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you. Remember to listen to your kids. They'll appreciate you more than you'll know. Join us December 2nd for the Perfect Pitch Party. You are not going to want to miss this. I always forget about the showcase, but that is an amazing opportunity to get what you're doing out there. And I can't wait to see you there. And in the Inner Circle group, me and Forbes are very active in it and love to support everybody who we work with. So I can't wait to meet you.
And for everybody listening and watching, you know, I could cry just thinking about how happy it makes me to do this with McKenna, to watch her just fly and to see people's reaction. And so, you know, when you've got your kids, like she said, listen to them, coach them, but be there for them. And I don't think, you know, we do it our own way. It's not right or wrong, whether we do business or have fun and go surfing and hang out in Greece. I got to tell you, creating your life and having a vision of what it can be to the highest possibility seems to be the best thing ever. And I would love to spread that forward and have you guys enjoy something that we call the Forbes Factor, focusing on health, wealth, and happiness. I'm out for now. I will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
All clear. Great show, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
And
so
sorry.
No, that's okay.
I talked to Josh really quickly.
All my friends in Facebook. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Now it's just us.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's probably smart. So I talked to Josh a little bit and Aaron. Josh is our studio manager now. And they're working on getting a computer in our live studio since we moved to a new location. And we haven't gotten that computer yet, but they're really working hard. So I can let you know if that's in by next week, but we can also record a
what is the situation where you guys, what kind of room are you guys in as the producers?
Sorry, I didn't fully hear you, but there's a show right next to me.
Oh, so as the producers, you're not in a room where we